Whoa, it's the CU Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's a post-NES Marathon CU podcast for March 12th, post-Daylight Savings Time, or in Daylight Savings Time, I don't know. It's March 12th, 2019.
That's all that matters.
That's Ian Ferguson, rocking the Luna hoodie. I'm Pat Contry, rocking a home shirt that I never wore before. It has a Millennium Falcon on it. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're talking about the Doom Annihilation trailer. We're talking about a little Captain Marvel, since we both actually saw a movie for once, discussing on the podcast. That's my version of Ian hating me not playing modern games. I hate when Ian doesn't see the movies. NWC was found, another one in the wild. Ronda Rousey says wrestling is fake and scripted, and that bothers us. So it bothers me at least. We have a Patreon Q&A and regular Q&A. So Ian, we finally did the 9th annual NES charity marathon. We delayed it, but you know what? It's probably better to do it in spring because there's less going on. There's less conventions. The holidays not coming up.
It's true. November is always a tough time to do it. We only ever settled on that date in the first place was we started doing it in the fall because of the Nintendo's 25th anniversary.
Yep, in 2010.
At the time.
Yep. So we did October 18th the first year.
Right.
And then Portland started happening like around then. So we tried to do it for a few years, like a week before after Portland, and we did it, but it took so much out of us. So we moved it to November, and then that didn't help that much. So it's just a rough time of year, but we got it done.
Yes.
We raised over $12,000 with your assistance for Rady Children's Hospital, a nonprofit hospital and pediatric hospital in San Diego. So they're very happy. They might want to have us out for one of those fake giant check things. I want to do it because I don't think I'll ever be able to do that again in my life. So I'm gonna get back to them and see if they want to do it. You can still actually donate, I believe. I think I set up for the middle of this week at nesmarathon.com. Your pal Steve.
Yeah, he
put in 1,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve Jablonski.
Thank you, Steve.
You could have. Okay, we're gonna roll that over next year. You can sponsor a whole hour. So we're at 13,304.
Yes.
Thanks so much to everyone. Our sponsors, Steve Jablonski, Portland Retro Gaming Expo, Screenwave Media, me. Who else we have? We had Castlemania, Rockheart Clothing, Limited Run Games. And then the one that just came off the top of my head because you just said it. And now Video Game History Foundation.
Yes.
I think that covers all. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to everyone who donated. It was a lot of fun. I like the new format a lot. I'm not sure why we got less money than last year. That bothers me because I have a pride thing going on with that. Could be the time of year. That could be people that might have less money with taxes and things like that. I don't know. But or maybe I hope they wouldn't mind if it's a local cause versus last time we did it was for AmeriCares. But either way, it's a lot of money. It's for a great cause, and it was a lot of fun. You know.
Indeed. I agree.
There's a few highlights.
Yes.
And this year, unlike last year, I highlighted the whole thing on Twitch, so it doesn't disappear on Twitch. I still have last year's, but the local file. But I should have highlighted the whole thing. I realized you have to do that to save it forever. So you can go on to twitch.tv/ContriCode, and you can rewatch the whole thing, and you can still donate till that. So there was some great moments. There was my Legend of Zelda rant. In the early Sunday morning or wee hours Saturday night before I crashed, and then there was also the mystery pizza. We don't know who delivered the pizza. Yep. I have a couple suspects in mind who delivered a mystery pizza.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What were some of your moments that you liked, that you remembered, that you recalled? Vonnie blew up your spot about the Bloodsport shirt, which I loved.
I enjoyed doing some of the live reads on Saturday night. Alex and I went off on one of them.
Oh, did you? Was I around for that?
Yeah, you were around for that. I'm
okay.
Pretty sure you were. And I really enjoyed the whole saga of playing Atlantis.
Oh, yes.
Escape from Atlantis.
Well, you wanted to quit. I wanted to keep going. And that was when we had the most viewers. I think we were on front pages of Twitch. We had like over 5,000 people at one point. And we were like 33% through Escape from Atlantis, which was during the Video Game History Foundation block, because that was an unreleased game that was saved from Color Dreams. Maybe not all games need to be saved. I'll just say that was a little rough, Escape from Atlantis. So that's all up on there. So no need for any marathon moments. You can just go back and watch them yourself in the future. There's also a few days left on a certain SNES Kickstarter. It's going to be until Friday night at midnight or Saturday morning at midnight, however way you want to say it. And it's at ultimatesnes.com. I think we reached over 1,000 backers, and then I'm going to be streaming. I believe I'm going to try to stream. Oh my God, I'm going to try to stream Super Nintendo games on my Friday night if I'm around, up until the end of it. We'll see, because I haven't done that before. This is the start of Pat's Twitch career, maybe. We'll see, and I'll use the Super NT over there with the flash card to do it. I think I'll try that with the Elgato. I'll try that. Ian's excited for the end of the Kickstarter. He's very excited for it.
Excited for everything right now.
Excited for everything. So we saw Captain Marvel.
Yes.
I saw it opening night on Thursday night. I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I would put it somewhere in the middle of the Marvel movies. You know, it's probably I enjoyed Ant-Man more, so I put it below Ant-Man, but it's above Iron Man 2. You know, so you know it was fine. The problem at this point with these movies is that I'm tired of seeing origin movies. There's been so many origin movies.
Sure.
And in the Captain Marvel's credit, they try to weave it in throughout the movie, the origin. Like, you don't actually see, spoilers, how Captain Marvel gets her powers until like 3/4 through the movie. You actually see like the moment. So that was interesting to me. But it seemed kind of it almost seemed like in the middle of the movie they didn't know what to do. There's a lot of like in the middle of the movie where not a whole lot happens besides exposition and flashbacks, and I thought the movie kind of dragged in the middle until it got closer to the end. And yeah, I thought it was okay, but I don't think it's one of those Marvel movies I would revisit.
I liked it more than that. I really enjoyed the story. Thought Ben Mendelsohn's acting was effing fantastic.
Mendelsohn was a highlight. I really should have said that. He was great.
He was insanely good.
Yes.
I thought Brie Larson did great. I don't know anything about her, so I was ambivalent about it, but I thought she did really well, and I thought she came across as as realistic as you can get in these situations. I thought they handled the confusion of her situation, I think, fairly well.
For not knowing like who she was.
Yes.
Yeah, they did an okay job.
I thought the story was great. I enjoyed a lot of it. There were a few things that I did not love about it. I don't love on-the-nose nostalgia that much.
Yeah, someone told me beforehand that, there's not too many moments. There's a lot of moments that are on the nose.
It's not
with the 90s.
It's not as bad.
I checked out when No Doubt I'm Just a Girl started playing during the fight scene. I checked out. I said that's totally not needed.
I thought it was fine.
There's no other Marvel movie you would need to do that during the time period to hammer not just a theme that she's a woman, a superhero, but also this is the mid-90s. Let's play No Doubt.
I mean, all the music was 90s, and all the music tied into the scene at some point.
But during the action scene, I that's where I was like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw what they went for a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. It didn't work for me. That's all.
It was fine for me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think there was any huge issue there.
But you had Blockbuster show up, which was cute. You had payphone stuff like throughout the movie. You had her trying to. The dial-up thing was funny though. Trying to use the dial-up at an internet cafe. That was funny.
Oh, that was funny. It was also funny watching them load the CD. So
wait. The CD-ROM loading doesn't take that long to load an audio file. It was funny to see it loading up. It was funny.
So
Goose the Cat ruled.
Goose was great. The movie wasn't nearly as on the nose as say something like Ready Player One, which
for the nostalgia.
The entire reason that for that fucking movie was nostalgia. This was good. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot that I need to be reminded of in the 90s. I do think Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson were fantastic together.
They had pretty good chemistry.
I think they were great. So I thought the acting was really good throughout it. I thought a lot of the characters were handled well.
Writing I thought was a little shaky at points.
I liked the story. I just didn't necessarily like the crazy on the nose nostalgia. And every time I watch a movie like this, I'm reminded that I'm really just not that into CG.
Yeah, I think...
And it was fine, but CG just takes me out of movies. And that's not just Marvel movies, that's all movies. And as time goes on and I get older and crankier, I realize that I just don't like it in the amount that it's used.
The only thing I would say, I don't think the action was shot interestingly at all. It was very pedestrian, very almost TV style action shots where it was not many interesting angles or sequences. It was just like, punch, kick, punch, shoot someone with a blaster. The next person comes, punch, kick, punch. There was nothing about the action I can go back and say was like really wowed me with that. There, of course, Captain Marvel gets powered up at the end, shoots through a couple of ships. Even that seemed like they were holding back on something, either budget-wise or it just seemed like there could have been more to the action at the end. It was the big moment, and then the ships come after. She destroys some ships, but it just almost seemed like something was held back there. So, like I said, I enjoyed it. Ben Mendelsohn was great. Like he was fantastic as the Skrull leader. The humor was great. How he was like quirky.
Palace, yeah.
One of the best moments in the movie. I laughed the most when they're at the farmhouse for Captain Marvel's friend who's in the Air Force with her, and then the Skrull pretends to be the mom outside with the little girl threatening her, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And the Skrull's like, yeah. Like what do you like? I know it's crappy, but I gotta do this.
When he brings her in,
yeah,
and she turns around, yeah, that was funny.
It's funny because it humanizes the Skrulls. To that point, you're thinking that they're the ultimate bad guys. That's how they're presented, and then it sort of flips it. It's on its head right there.
See, I love that. I mean, there were issues with the movie, but overall, the stuff that I enjoyed about it, I liked way more than the stuff that I did not like.
I just thought the writing could have been tighter. I thought everyone, I mean, the villain twist I saw coming within 10 minutes. Like they didn't mask it at all. It was like, oh, well, like you don't think the guy that trained Captain Marvel knew her history? He's like trying to know, I don't know what's going on Earth. Like, what? That's weird. You're showing up in a file. So it was fine though. They threw in a Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy. That seemed a little bit just tacked on. They didn't need him in there at all, just to tie in the universe to Guardians of the Galaxy, because he doesn't really do anything but just look and say a few lines there. But anyway, so it's fun. I'd say go see it. There's some, you might like some nostalgia. Don't go it for the action. I thought was weak, but Goose the Cat ruled.
See, I liked the action.
I didn't like the action.
I didn't love it, but I liked it better, and I didn't get any moments. For instance, Black Panther had great action, but the end took me out of Black Panther.
The CG was terrible at the end.
And just like the end of Iron Man 3 took me out of it, and I really liked that movie.
Just too much CG.
The action was action in Captain Marvel. I don't think it was bad, but it wasn't anything insane.
It was ordinary. It was ordinary. And for a superhero movie, that should be a crime. You should not have an ordinary action sequence. Like Ant-Man tries to keep it fresh and interesting because of his powers. With Captain Marvel just being like, shooting photon beams and flying around, I guess there's less interesting things you can do with that sort of power.
Well, once you get to a certain level in terms of how powerful a character is, the combat gets less interesting.
Sure, because there's no stakes anymore, too. Right. When you can destroy battleships in space and you can't get killed, really. That's why I don't like. That's why Superman's always tougher to write for, because he's overpowered, and it's really, really tough to kill. But we got Avengers in like 6 weeks only. Yeah. Oh my God.
Looking forward to it.
And then looking forward to Pat crying if a character dies. I'll be bawling like a baby. All right, Ian.
Yes, Pat.
Seems like very subdued response. It seems like once a year, something is being found of value in the Seattle Northwest area where Nintendo of America is headquartered. This is not a coincidence. Again, last year there was an NWC console found up there. In the past, they found the Star Fox 2 prototype, and they found Campus Challenge at a garage sale. So it seems like it's always the hotbed for this stuff coming out. Sure. So a Nintendo World Championships 1990 Grey Cart was discovered recently, posted on Reddit, and a video with Metal Jesus Rocks and Kelsey from Guerrilla Games, Pinkarilla, not Guerrilla Games, Pinkarilla, just came out. So this is exciting. It's always an exciting find. Another member of the NWC family is found. This one is number 287. The numbers, if you're not familiar with NWC Grey Carts, these are the carts that were actually used in the competition themselves. The highest number is somewhere in the low 300s, so it's safe to say that they produced at least 300 of these. They obviously toured around the U.S. They probably lost some probably may have broken down over heavy usage at these tournaments, so that's why they created. And plus, at some of these events, you had tons of kids playing, so you need a lot of these made. But the fact of the matter is now, there's a lot less than 300 that exist.
Sure.
A lot less. They gave away 90 to the 90 finalists. the grand championships, whatever, in Florida. So we know that those 90 were given out, but those aren't the ones that we know exist still. Some of them are, but that's not all of them. Some were taken from employees. Some just happened to somehow end up in people's hands. We don't know how the one came into Luna Video Games. We have no idea how that person got theirs. As an example. Yeah. So
and that's unfortunately we'll never know.
We'll never know. The world may never know. That guy never came back, did he?
No.
So this one showed up. It was in the person selling it is his brother's gaming collection. He just had it there. And so he went on Reddit asking for help how to sell it. I was involved on the side, kind of. I was asked by Kelsey to know, is there anyone that who would want to buy one? I knew someone. I tried to put them together to work out a deal. I offered my advice. You can put it on Nintendo Age because I think there's a bounty on Nintendo Age for $20,000 for one. There has been one on eBay for I think $32,000 or best offer on there. So it's always fun when these get found, especially in the wild, because it's just another one you can add to the list, and the fact that it's individually marked helps as well. So in Metal Juice's video, he says he first got a DM, same thing, saying that, hey, look at this card, and he said, oh, this is probably bullshit.
Yeah, he thought he was
stop trolling me.
He was hanging out with his wife and was like, I don't know that I need to.
It's a waste of time.
But he actually went and did a reverse Google search, which was rather ingenious of him. That was a good way to jump into it and see if maybe there was some legitimacy to it.
Sure. You can just do that easily. You can say, oh, this does not match up. I was waiting for him on the video in the Google image search for my face with the tongue picture that I have out there that I posted for my cell phone when I first. And that was a gold one, sorry. Anyway, humble brag. But anyway, so they bring it to the store. Kelsey opens it up with a bit driver. She has gloves on, which I think
that gave me flashbacks watching her open it.
Oh, because when you opened it up, we didn't use gloves, did we?
No.
We were like, screw it. I mean, they're pretty robust NES labels. I mean, how many fingers have been all over NES games? And the grease for fingers really doesn't come off on the labels.
These
really
labels aren't robust.
Well, in general, though, no. Well, one thing you can tell, one of the ways you can tell these, it's hard to fake an NWC in general because the board, the cutout dip switch. But most of the labels have at least a decent amount of bleed through.
I don't know that I've seen any that don't have bleed through.
There's a couple that have very minor or less than you would like. But they all have something.
I mean,
mine is actually in the pantheon of NWCs. It's probably in the top half in terms of bleed through. It's fairly clean. Lucky that the guy probably never played it or handled it or exposed it to humidity. Maybe that helps. But it's a great story for sure, Ian.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say this. I have a recommendation. Because when they tested out the cart and they put it in the console in the video, the top label, which sometimes happens with these, is coming off. It's rolling off. You want to glue stick that sucker down because it'll keep rolling eventually. You don't want the top of it to come off. That'll be bad. So just take a little glue stick, from the dollar store, 3 for $1. It won't damage it, and you just paste it back on. I did that for I think on the one that came in, like the corners, I think had a little bit of that, I believe, and I think I glue stick a little corner, I think, but it was pretty. I thought it was pretty stuck down.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just want to do that just to protect it, and you want to make sure it stays down. Otherwise, that sucker will keep rolling up. That happens with the Maxi 15 card a lot because that label's garbage with that. Yeah, I'm excited. I think in the video, Jason said that he had an offer for $23,000. I think that's probably at this point, probably in the ballpark. I think the highest amount was still around $20,000, and that included the one was with the Howard Phillips junk. That was like 3-4 years ago.
Right.
All the memorabilia he had from the NWC. But hey, maybe the bar moved up to $20,000. I don't know. With WAD and all these things, maybe now the NWC carts rise in value. We'll see. I don't know if this is something that will get graded or not. I am weirded out by grading NWC carts just because they were never in like pristine new condition. The same with the NWC golds. I don't agree with grading products that were never retail released and were just made willy-nilly by hand. I don't like that at all.
And you can protect from the case, but grading it is, I feel like it's hard to do when
there's no 10.
Yeah, there's no 10 to compare it to. There's nothing. I mean,
there's no 9
what's the
maybe.
Base, right?
And that's the whole point. When they were made, they didn't probably look that good, and they were used. So when you have a product that was used specifically for a purpose, I don't think grading it is proper. I'm not just saying that because, what are you afraid of your grade? No, I'm not afraid of my grade. I can sell the NWC card tomorrow, graded or not. Doesn't matter. I just think it's weird. And even more so with the gold cards, because those, what are you going to compare? How well it's cut? You know, the triangle symbol, how well it's been glued by the Nintendo employee. What are you actually looking at that point? You know, it's just kind of strange to me. It's a very OCD thing, I think, with collectors that want to do that. If you have a lot of money, it's, I want to get the 8.5 NWC grade. I want to get the 7. You know, what do you do with the Mario one then? The one with, there's almost 2 with no labels, but what are you going to do with the famous Mario one? Does it get like a 1 or a 0.5? Does that mean it's less value then versus the others? By what factor? Because I think even a labelless NWC you can probably get, you know, $10,000 for probably
I would
at this
say
point.
it probably
So
wouldn't be a question.
It's not like if that was a comic book, a 0.5, you would get like 2% of the value versus half. So that's why the whole thing doesn't make sense to me when you're grading, especially a cartridge game. It doesn't add up to me. So, anything else to add? You know, with this, it's a fun story. You got flashbacks with. We should have did one. We should have did a video back then with you putting on your little gloves.
I mean, it
were like
was different then.
It was a different time in 2000. What was that? Early 2010. It was a different time, Ian.
Yes. Yes,
Much more innocent time when Pat was still completing his NES collection. Wow, it was 9 years ago.
Yeah, you had that before you completed your NES
I did.
collection.
That's a Pat fact that Ian knows about me. All right, Ian.
Sir.
There's a new Doom movie being made, which I had no idea.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch it? It's called Doom Annihilation.
I haven't seen the trailer yet. So
I will say this. In the pantheon of video game movies.
That's like the 3rd time you've used Pantheon today.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, I stopped using Pantheon. in the history of video game movies, it's not good to put Annihilation after the title of your movie. It's just not a good sign.
No.
To do that. So we're gonna watch the trailer, and Universal probably will claim this because they're nice about this sort of stuff. And we're gonna try to watch the Doom Annihilation trailer right over here. We're gonna watch it. Let's move the nerd.
Man received a distress signal moments before the base went offline.
Doom Slayers?
What? Your mission? Don't die.
Move out.
Okay. Aliens vibe. It's not a game.
Die, die, die!
Wow.
What is going on?
They opened up a portal down.
Woo! Wow! Wow! Okay then.
Die, die, die!
No. Die.
Yeah.
Move out.
Move out.
Okay.
Wow, that doesn't look good.
Okay then. Nice ad for Ellen doing a comedy special. Okay then. Initial thoughts. That doesn't look like a theatrical movie. That
No.
looks like
No,
a
it doesn't.
sci-fi special.
That
to
yeah,
me.
that looks.
Is that
like,
coming out in theaters?
I don't know.
Where's that Engadget article on here?
Right here.
That looks horrific.
Yes, that looks real bad.
The monster looks bad. The prop guns look cheap. The acting looks terrible. The line delivered from the actors is bad.
I don't know. I think that's about all we.
I mean, what else can I add there?
I mean, everything
It just
about
looks
that
cheap.
was awful looking. It looks very cheap. When you can't.
Doom. I guess Doom Slayer. That's the name of Doom guy in the new games. That's why I guess that's why they say Doom Slayers. But
They just.
It-
I
it
don't
dis-
know. In the new game, they just called him Doom Guy.
I thought it was Doom Slayer. I thought there was something weird about that. But the fact that they say it's not a game anymore. Well, it's still a game.
Right.
But the people in the movie don't know it's a game, so you can't tell them it's not a game anymore. It just doesn't make any sense to me, looking at it like that. Did you see the response from id Software on Twitter?
Okay. It is. He is referred to as the Doom Slayer in the rebooted game.
So there was a Doom movie in 2005, and I caught part of it. It was all right. I mean, there was a twist where The Rock, as the Sarge, he turns evil, and then Carl Urban has to fight him, and there is a cool 3-minute sequence. It's in first-person perspective.
Sure.
That's the only good, probably the best part of the movie. It's not a good movie, but wow. This is from written and directed by Tony Giglio of Death Race 2 and Death Race 3. I didn't know there was a Death Race 2 and 3 after the reboot.
Nope, neither did I. So
the movie follows a group of space marines responding to a distress call from a Martian moon base. The same basic premise as the original movie, so don't feel like you need to watch the first one and get caught up.
This isn't slated for cinematic release.
Oh, okay.
The movie isn't slated for cinematic release. It could easily end up on Netflix, though. And obviously, producers don't want to give away the best bits in the trailer.
The best bits. You think they have the budget for like the giant demon monsters? For looking at that, no.
Yeah,
you're gonna get like zombies they're shooting at in that.
But if the brief trailer is anything to go by, the movie could be missing iconic Doom baddies such as the Hell Knights and Cacodemon.
Oh, they don't have the budget for that stuff.
Nope.
They don't have the budget for even looks like fireball orbs coming at you. They're gonna be zombie.
The Lost Souls.
Jesus, that looks bad. The official Doom account says we're not involved with the movie, so they're just washing their hands of it. Like,
oh wow,
it's not us. We know this is trash, but we can't say it probably, but we're not involved with it. So this is a problem when you just sell the rights to your movie, though, without any creative control. Sonic the Hedgehog. Is that you really can't say anything.
Die.
Die. And okay. We get there's a kick now. I mean, it's fine. You have your the female lead there. Can we get someone that might though sound like a soldier or a Marine? It's a far cry, from Aliens. When you had men and women together, but there were men and women that were both kicking ass. Let's train them up a bit so they sound like they're imposing. When you're acting in your movie with your guns, let's do that.
I mean, that goes whether it's a male actor or a female.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure why that has anything to do with it,
but she doesn't sound imposing at all.
No.
As a space Marine, that's the point.
No, that whoever it is, yeah, that's a really, really bad.
Bad job, Doom.
So if it's not meant for theatrical release, where would it go? Just straight to DVD, straight to
Netflix.
Video?
Somehow, what I've heard from my minor connections in Hollywood is that a lot of these movies get bought in the foreign markets in like Eastern Europe because they'll buy any movie that's made in the U.S. Oh my God, it's an American movie. They don't care that to us it's trash. Sure. They'll just buy it and show it and be like, oh my God, this is a Hollywood movie. So the money may not be made back in the domestic market. It might be overseas.
Global.
And that's how they make their money. Because you think about distribution in Europe and all cable channels, and they have their own hotels and stuff, things like that. And that's a large audience. Here we won't watch it, or we'll watch it and laugh at it. But overseas, it can be a grade above what their quote unquote Hollywood is in Eastern Europe. That's why those awful Steven Seagal movies still get made.
Sure.
I mean, we laugh at them, but over there they watch them and love them.
Yeah, in Russia they're huge.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Give me Ripley or someone fighting an alien. Look at someone. All right. Anything else to add on Doom Annihilation?
Nope. I'll probably get real high and watch it at some point.
All right. Ian.
Sir.
We don't talk about wrestling that much anymore.
No, we don't.
But we might talk about WrestleMania this year. I told you the last time that I was very excited for Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. Like I was like,
yeah,
this
I think everyone was, including myself.
Like I said this could potentially main event WrestleMania.
I wasn't huge on the Rousey aspect of it, but Becky Lynch has gotten so insanely over.
Yes, and they've managed to drop that ball too, which I'll get into in a short time. They've had Becky Lynch with this, I guess, worked injury of her knee, so she's been hobbling around on crutches and getting beat up the last weeks, which is what you do not want to do with your hot star. You never had Steve Austin getting beat up week after week, even if he was injured. He was the one beating people up,
especially right after they showed her being like tough and
winning the Royal Rumble,
yeah,
when she was hurt. Like they don't get it. For some reason, everyone, I guess politically, they have to treat everyone 50-50, even though that's not what's best for business long term. If you have a hot star, you have a chance to cement someone as someone that even can cross over in the pop culture. You push that person, regardless of the short term loss of stature to whoever else is around. They don't get that in WWE. That's why Dolph Ziggler never got the push he should have 5 years ago.
Right.
That's why Bray Wyatt never got the push he was supposed to, because I guess egos get in the way, and they don't want one guy to run with the ball or woman even for a short amount of time.
Yeah, those are two great examples.
And then lift everyone else up underneath. Like they don't get that everyone wins.
Right. You make the star hot as hell. You keep pushing them. and then the
You work
people
in feuds.
underneath you
Yeah.
work in feuds, and that elevates everyone.
Yeah, there's a reason why when Stone Cold got hot, you know, and then it helped with The Rock. When The Rock faced him, that helped boost him up a bit. And then people around him got it was best for business to do that.
I mean, people forget Rocky Maivia was not always a well-loved member of the WWE cast.
I mean, Bret Hart was instrumental in Stone Cold's rise, and he got his ass kicked by Austin a few times, and he didn't have an ego. He realized this is good to build up Austin.
Right.
You know, like you put your ego aside when it's best for business. When you do that, so Ronda Rousey. They've been pushing they try to push Ronda Rousey as the white bread baby face. I'm just competing because I want to compete, when the crowd didn't buy it anymore. Because in real life, Ronda Rousey is not like that. She's not humble at all in real life.
Right.
This is why a lot of mixed martial arts fans were happy she got her ass kicked the last 2 fights, because she was not a humble champion at all.
No.
And I think that's bled through into her performance, because when she first came in, she's been there almost a year now. The fans are like, "Yeah, this is great, Ronda Rousey." But then as champion, they're like, "Okay, what does she have to offer? She's doing okay in the ring. She's improved on the mic. She's not that good, but she has a charisma as a champion and as a legit mixed martial artist." But they started to turn on her because they love Becky Lynch and like, "Oh, she's got a personality. She gets it. She's better with this." And Ronda Rousey,
she came up in wrestling.
Yes, she's earned it. She wasn't just handed it. So. Rousey, as a face, has been rattled on the mic a couple times the past few months, where she's been visibly, like, her promos have been terrible because the crowd is like chanting for Becky when she's up there, and she doesn't know how to handle it. And it could be just she's not trained to do that, or maybe her real life ego is getting in the way, saying, "Wow, you guys should be cheering me. Why aren't you cheering me?" So at first they sort of made it like, "Oh well, let's try to make Becky the bad one." No, this doesn't work. Till the crowd doesn't care. Like Becky's been attacking people with her crutch and everything, and doesn't care. They're still going to cheer for her, just like with Stone Cold. Stone Cold was beating up people. Stone Cold beat up Bret Hart in a wheelchair. They still cheered Stone Cold. They want to cheer for the person. So Rousey, they finally decided, okay, let's make her the full-blown heel. Supposedly Rousey's going to leave after WrestleMania. She might have a kid. She's been there for a year. She's going to take some time off. And plus, she's been champion now for a while. So it makes sense to do it. But now they've gone in this weird direction, Ian, where they're doing this work-shoot bullshit. This Vince Russo WCW and Attitude Era shit that turns me off. Because they had Ronda Rousey, she posted a vlog video where at first I thought maybe she went off the deep end. It was that bad because you had their champion straight out saying WWE is fake. Wrestling is scripted. This is all bullshit. Fuck the WWE universe. And the reaction from people was like, wow, okay, so either you're fucking insane for saying this, and if anyone else said this, they'd be fired immediately, or this is a really bad storyline.
Yeah.
And that people were hedging their bets at first when it came to it. But now on Raw, she comes out and says they've softened it. I think this is what happened. I think they told her to go over the top.
And she went over the line.
And she went over the line and said wrestling is fake. So I think it was supposed to be closer to reality, but she didn't know how to walk that tightrope of saying, this is bullshit. Everyone knows I can beat these people up because I'm a professional. Instead, she said, this is fake.
Yeah.
And exposed the business and exposed it as an entertainment medium.
Which everyone knows, but you don't do it.
You don't say that.
I think it was actually in the article that I was reading that it's like a magician.
Yes.
You know magic is fake, but you go there to see it, and you go there to not have the magician to tell you this is fake. This is how I'm doing everything as I do it. That's not what you do.
Yeah, it's like if we're watching Captain Marvel, and then all of a sudden one of the scenes, Brie Larson says, "Hey everyone, this is CG. This isn't real." But now back to the movie.
Yeah.
It just takes you out of it because wrestling is a TV show. It's a TV show about a wrestling organization.
It only
that's
works.
how it. The best way to explain it to people. That's what you're watching. You're watching a TV show about a wrestling promotion.
Right. There's a handshake between the viewer and the actors, essentially, that this is going to. Yeah, it's fiction, but we're just not going to come right out and say this is a TV show.
It's a live theater show that is also televised. That's what wrestling is. So when they did this shit in the late 90s, and they did it in WWE as well, like the Job Squad and things like that, it's awful because now I don't have interest in watching this match nearly as much.
Yeah.
Because now the disbelief, the suspension of disbelief, you've just slapped it away in order to get cheap heat. And it doesn't make any sense. I cannot picture I cannot picture people in the organization that have been with wrestling for 40, 50 years signing off on the champion saying that wrestling is. I have never heard of something like this happening before.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
And she went on Raw and she walked the line better, but now it's too late. She straight up said, this is Carney con job stuff. She said that on Raw. She said that. Carney con. She used that.
I don't think that's walking the line any better.
But it's not saying wrestling's fake, but it's basically saying this is carnival shit. Like, that's where the term mark comes from carnival.
Sure.
So this is fake.
Calling it a con job is still, it's fake.
So I think what she's trying to get across is that these are paper challengers, and I'm the real champion because I'm tough and I actually beat up women before getting your ass kicked because everyone else caught up in MMA. So the whole thing's weird because she's also been calling Becky Lynch by her first real name, Rebecca. Her name's Rebecca Quinn on Twitter. So I don't like the incorporation of Twitter into these feuds because it breaks down the barriers of what's supposed to be real. And again, I don't like it. I'd rather just stay away from it. And then I think there was a response by
Becky, Rebecca. It's not that you could be calling them by the first name. That doesn't bother me as much.
But it's still. You know,
when you tie it into what else is going on.
Yes, it's weird.
Sure.
And then I hear Misha Tate, who was an MMA fighter, she lost to Rousey a couple times. They notoriously hate each other. Misha Tate straight out said, based upon her knowledge of Ronda, that she probably said this stuff meaning it in this vlog. Maybe she was told to say something, but she means this stuff because this is how she is. Right. She's just an awful individual. Misha Tate hates her. And so now you're trying to say this. You have a triple threat match between Becky and Ronda and Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't need to be anywhere near the match before. So again, it's the whole going back to everyone's got to get their shit in. Everyone's got to get a rub. And then everyone still give the push to one person, not try to even out because then everyone loses. It's terrible.
Yeah,
Besides
you can't climb that way.
It's ridiculous. And so Ronda's going to go away. I don't care if she comes back now because I think this crosses the line now. This goes back to Bash at the Beach, was that 2000 when Russo comes out and basically says that, this is bullshit. And remember Jarrett, Jarrett laid down for him. Hogan didn't want to lose tonight. And it's like, fuck you all. Because now I don't want to watch anything anymore.
Right.
It's not good heat. I hear that. Well, this is good. You want to watch Ronda Rousey lose? No, I don't.
No.
I just don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, because
you don't understand how I was so excited for something a month ago, and now literally I don't care.
Well, because now, I mean, I haven't seen many people mention it, but there's going to be. Okay, so how do they recover this?
I don't know.
Exactly. The one possibility that I would hate to watch is have them go into the ring and have her suddenly be startled by getting hurt because, how do you do it? I mean, if you say it's fake, then how do you prove to her in a storyline that it's real without discounting everything else that's there? You can't have a Becky Rousey fight where they decide to take it serious this time because then there's just no good way out of it.
You can't say wrestling is fake and then in the match still bounce off the ropes off an Irish whip.
Right.
Like you can't do these things.
And act hurt. And then if you're something like, oh, she's doing it for real, I'm getting hurt now.
It doesn't
that doesn't
my
work.
mind turns off.
Yeah.
My mind turns off. It's like when they try to do the work there was a time when they try to do in some promotions and even in WCW I think they try to do worked MMA fights in wrestling.
Yeah.
They try to do that. But it just doesn't work for me because at some point it turns back into wrestling.
Yeah.
It turns back into, scripted, choreographed performance art at some point because it looks more interesting to the eye. And so I'll finish with this. I think what happened here is that they realized they had to turn Ronda because the crowd's turning on her and Becky Lynch. They inserted Charlotte Flair in there for God knows why. There was no reason at all. They could have waited for Charlotte on the sidelines till afterwards. And I think they realized, okay, Ronda went too far, but we can't fire her or chastise our champion that we're paying a ton of money to and has a big WrestleMania match. I think they told her to do something that would get heat, and I think she went too far because they didn't mention anything about her vlog comments on Raw. They did, like Dana Brooke came up after Ronda said the Carney con job. They had Dana Brooke come out, who doesn't really wrestle that much anymore, and try to do this whole song. You upset everyone in the back for how you're representing. They try to work it in a little bit. It's just not. It's not flying.
Who was it? Dana Brooke. Oh, Dana. She's the short blonde one.
She's a short, really
super muscular
one that she was with Titus when they had Titus for a while. Yeah, she's not a good worker, but whatever. She's fine. She's a jobber, so she just got her ass kicked by Rousey on Raw. But the whole thing is just not going the way it should have. They should have just wrote it the way they were writing it a month ago and not do those. And like I said, plus with Becky, they're having Becky look like a chump now, getting beat up because she's hobbled. And like, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the tough Stone Cold type character and reducing it to make sure everyone's probably happy.
A 3-way as a main event is fucking dog shit.
No, it can work if it's built properly, but not this. No, not at all. And they've even tried to incorporate like Ronda trying to say, well, I'm not gonna fight if Becky's in there. I want to fight Becky again. And it's like, well, Becky won the Rumble, so they try to incorporate all the suspension bullshit because we gotta look at your knee. If you don't look, let's clear you. You're not wrestling at WrestleMania. It's like the feud is there. Let the feud go. Don't insert Triple H. Don't insert Stephanie. Go off TV for like 4 years, both of you. Sick of it. Sick of the corporate bullshit from this same shit for the past 20 years. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Stamps.com, Ian. We've been speaking about it for a long time. I've used Stamps.com for years. It brings all the amazing services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer, whether you're a small office sending invoices, online seller like I've been, or even a warehouse sending thousands of packages a day. Stamps.com can handle all of it with ease. All you need, Ian, what do you need? You need a computer. You need a printer. You need a package to send. You do need that too.
That's it.
You're ready to go. And you can send any official U.S. postage, international mail, domestic mail, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail.
Ooh.
Like I said, I've mailed out wristbands, I've mailed out DVDs, I've mailed out books, I've mailed out Sega CD systems. Stamps.com handles everything and it's convenient. And you can schedule a pickup so you don't have to go to the post office as well. Woo. Saves you time, and time is money. Right now, you can get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage plus a digital scale so you can weigh your packages without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in CU Podcast at checkout. That's Stamps.com. Enter CU Podcast for your 4-week trial, which is free, includes free postage and a digital scale. Go to it. Get shipping with Stamps.com. The CU Podcast is proud to be working with NordVPN. It's what I use to keep myself safe online, and you can too. If you care about the privacy, security of your information, NordVPN is giving you 66% off a 2-year plan when you go to nordvpn.com/CU Podcast or use code CU Podcast at checkout.
VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and today having a VPN is more critical than ever. Why? If you're doing anything online, your information and browsing habits are out there for anyone to get a hold of. When you use NordVPN, you have access to over 4,000 super speedy servers in 62 countries, and those connections secure your information using military-grade encryption. That means your information and what you do online is nearly impossible to track.
They have a NordVPN app for your phone or laptop, PC, Android devices, iOS devices, tablets, whatever, and keeps your passwords and banking info masked from those never-do-wells out there and might be seeking it. Folks at PC Mag made NordVPN their editor's top VPN choice. Just one account lets you protect up to 6 devices. That's good. That's good. That's the whole house is covered for the most part. To get that special offer again, it's 66% off a 2-year plan. Go to nordvpn.com/CU Podcast or use code CU Podcast and get going with your secure web browsing today. Ian, do we have for this week Tales from the Game Store?
Oh boy, do we. Oh boy, do we. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and lay the groundwork just a little bit. Because it's worthwhile with a story from about four years ago. A guy came in, was selling a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I can wait.
Sorry. No, go.
So the dude comes in and he wants to sell a bunch of stuff. And this was, like I said, 4 years ago. This was at the La Mesa location. So we start going through it, and there's tons and tons of games in there, and none of it's really worth much of anything, but he had some good stuff. And I remember there was like a box with a bunch of odds and ends bullshit in there, and in there was a sword, a metal sword.
Real sword.
It may have been a recreation sword, but it was heavy and it was metal. And it had Carlos V on the handle. It's a big sword. It's the sword that
Carlos. That was it was inscribed.
Yeah, it said Carlos V.
That was
on
the maker, not someone sharpieing it.
No.
Oh, okay. Inscription.
Yeah, for the king.
For the king.
King Carlos the Fifth. So, long story short, with that story, we thought it was weird. We offered the guy a good offer on his games.
What type of games did he have? Like,
this was 4 years ago, so this isn't
Oh,
the
so
important,
this is the
this isn't
4-year
the
one.
important
Okay.
part.
Okay.
So basically, he had some good games. We offered it to. We gave him the money, and he didn't want to leave with it, so he left the sword.
he just left the sword.
So he left the sword at Luna because we didn't want to pay anything for it because we don't buy swords at Luna video games. So there's a picture of me holding that.
Yeah, if you Google Ian's name on Google image search, one of them will be Ian holding a sword.
Yeah, and that's that sword. So
Which looks like that looked like the Ocean Beach shop.
no, that was that's
That was the one.
that's
Okay.
La Mesa. So So okay, so before the marathon now. So Friday morning, I'm working in this past Friday morning, I'm working in Chula Vista, and I'm helping a customer, and this guy just comes full force into the store, walking with a purpose. He's got a purpose.
Because Vince McMahon walk.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what
No
it was.
chance.
Yeah, one of those I've got the grapefruits walks. So,
Conor McGregor.
so he walks in and he sticks out his hand and he's like, hey. And I'm like, he's like, Bob here? Like, there's no Bob. And he's like, Steve? I'm like, there's no Steve.
Is he just
here.
running off average names?
Just running off
Bill?
crystal meth, maybe. I don't know. So he's like, Steve? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I was just in here yesterday. Maybe it was a few days ago, but I was talking to the guy that I might have some stuff I want to sell him. A tall guy, baseball cap, shaved head. And I'm like, oh. I was like, there's no Steve here. Or Bob. And he's like, well, then the guy, I mean, obviously that was Treg.
I was going to say, Treg has a shaved head, doesn't he?
That he's discussing. But he's like, I was like, I don't know, there's no Steve or Bob here. And he's like, well, then that guy lied to me. And at this point, I can tell that this is not a normal customer interaction. That this person is on something or something's going on.
Sure.
And
he dreamt up an interaction and it didn't happen.
so I look at him after he says the lying thing, and I was like, okay, great. What can I do for you? And he's like, well, what's your name? And I'm like, how can I help you? just blowing over the whole name thing. I don't want to tell you any of this. Well, I was talking to him, and so I've got some stuff, and I didn't even notice it. He reaches, and he pulls it up. He's got a katana in a fucking sheath.
Full-size katana?
I don't know. Close enough.
The medium-sized one?
It's a fucking sword. And he's like, so would you guys have any interest in buying this? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? It's really nice. And I'm like, because we're a video game store.
You're not a weapon shop in an RPG.
We don't buy swords. And he holds it up, and he starts like looking shifty around the store. And he goes, it would look right there. It would look good right there. Right? It would look good right there on the wall. And then he says, I kid you fucking not, it'll bring in women. Woo! It'll bring in women.
Advertise your katana.
There. It'll bring in women.
I've owned a Highlander replica sword. I can't tell you how many babes I've gotten over the years by telling them that. Man, it works out.
So I'm like, at this point, I'm just like,
Jesus.
No, man, no. Like, I'm getting like worn out by this.
It was probably one of those Chinese knockoff ones that cost $10 anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
If it was like a vintage like one from Japan, okay, I'll give you $50 for it.
He reaches into like another part. It was right in his hoodie. He reaches in and he pulls it out, and it's like this piece of tin, like not like one of those cheap hammered out like a metal tile or something.
Okay.
Yeah, like so it was like one of those, and it looked like it may have had like some Japanese characters on it. I don't know. And it had like a there was like a hole punched in it. There was like a red ribbon out one end and another red ribbon out another. And he holds it up and he goes, how about a karate medal?
A karate medal.
And I'm like, what? And he's like,
Did you meet an immortal? Was this like his old Japanese prizes from like the 1800s?
and I was like,
is this Connor McLeod coming for him?
I was like, no. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean karate medal? It's not. And he's like, it's, I can't remember.
Was it actually a karate medal?
No.
Oh, was it? It looked.
Because I said something. I was like, that's not like a competition thing. He's like, no. I just mean it's like, it's karate medal. And
is karate medal on the periodic table? Is that what he means?
Yes. I don't know if he meant like a
next to
decoration.
iron?
I don't know. The guy was fucked up, so I don't know if he meant like this is a piece of metal that in some way looks like it may have been in a karate film, or
well, it looked like a medal though. There was spots for ribbon.
No, it was metal, and there was like. It was like
circular
2 or 4 holes punched. No, it was like square. Like
it was
this.
a square,
and it just had like some ribbons coming off of it. So I don't know if it was like
maybe it was a karate medal.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like it. To me, it looked like some sort of cheap decorative nonsense.
Okay,
like maybe he stole this katana and he stole the decorative base or the decorative seal. I have no idea.
Now it's a plot for Bloodsport, by the way. Now
I have no idea.
He stole from Tanaka.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Get katana sword by stealing.
I don't
it's
know.
Very special sword. You must earn it. I wasn't going to steal it.
So I don't know where this came from. And then the last thing he does is, because, you know, the last thing you want to try to sell at the video game store, of course, is a video game. You know, try to sell those swords and karate medals first. So he pulls a game out. And he goes, how about this? And it's SOCOM, one of the SOCOMs for the PS3.
Okay.
And
it's not Japanese.
It's waterlogged. I pick it up and I open it and it's wet.
It's still wet.
It's wet. It's wet as fuck. So I close it and I put it back down on the counter and I was like, I can't buy this. I can't buy anything from you. And he goes, oh, come on, man. You know, if I don't hustle and get this food, I don't eat. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I cannot buy any of this. And he picks it up, puts it in the bag, and he goes, well, this sucks. And he turns, and he has the katana in his hand, and he turns and he looks at the other customer, who at this point is now, like, watching this go down from, like, the second floor area. And
was it unsheathed at this point, the katana?
No.
Okay.
No. He to his credit, he only unsheathed it once.
So you knew to keep it.
But he was getting like there was a point where he was getting aggressive about me not buying like this stuff. Like he was getting angry. So I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like this could be bad. So anyways, it's all back together, and I tell him I can't buy anything, and he looks at the customer and kind of goes, with the katana sword, and the customer just looks at me and is like. And like just goes back to looking at the games. And
he didn't say how much he wanted for the katana, by the way. He might have taken like $1 for it. It sounds like
probably. But I just no.
You should just say, hey, there's a consignment store down the street. Even though it's not one, just go there.
So he turned and he left, and I got a quick picture where you can kind of see the
I'm walking out. Yes,
yeah,
I did see that on Twitter.
Because no one's gonna fucking believe that story.
Email me that picture like right after the podcast.
Okay.
Seriously, or text me so I can get it to Kieran so I can edit it in.
Okay. Yeah.
to the segment. Yeah. Seriously,
I'll do it.
So that was fun. Okay.
That was fun.
Weapons. You want to be a weapons dealer as well as a game store.
And then in just small mention, I will say that I did have a brush with Milkman again.
Oh, Milkman returned. Milkman cometh.
The tiniest of brushes with Milkman. He came in with his friend the other day, the friend that he was with when they bought the 360, and all that 360 shit came down. They walk in, and I'm like, oh my God, in my head. I'm like, really? And Milkman's looking as ratty as usual, and he kind of like locks eyes, but not on me or anyone else. He just kind of locks eyes like dead forward and kind of goes out of it. And his friend, like they walk in to like the first 10 feet of the store. They stop. This all happens in about 2 seconds. And his friend goes, y'all sell or buy modems here?
Modems.
Yep.
Modems.
Yep.
28.8, 56.6K or 14.4.
I was like, no. And he goes, need a modem. And turns around and leaves.
He needs a modem.
Yeah, he said, do y'all buy or sell modems here?
Okay.
It was weird because I thought he was going to sell something.
He needs a cable modem.
Yeah, I thought he was going to try to sell something to me.
I thought he was going to sell an old modem from the 90s.
The way he phrased it. And I was like, no. And he's like, I need a modem. And they just turn around and they leave. So I don't know what was going on with them that day.
God, call AT&T or Cox Cable. They might have one.
To have been a fly on the wall for the rest of their adventure.
Or you know what?
That was early in the day, too.
You go to the swap meet, there's always the old modems from people when they move or they stop their cable. There's 80,000 of those, which are all mostly useless because they upgrade their signal strength. This is cable knowledge. So a lot of them get phased out along the way. Wow. That's a twofer right there.
Yeah.
We have twofers the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Why have we not been doing this segment for the past 5 years? This is therapeutic and it's very entertaining. It's the new. It's going to replace the Scumbag Cell of the Week. I think
people seem to enjoy it.
Oh, they seem to. I think they just do a podcast from the store every day. People are saying they want it like you'd have a reality show, like just film the store. There's something to that. I think we discussed that years ago as a possibility. That'd be funny to do that. All right. Well, that was a tale from the game store.
All right, Pat. So we have a Patreon.
We do, Ian, have a Patreon.
You go to patreon.com/CU podcast. There you can. There you can. Patron us with some money.
Patronize. The verb is patronize.
I know. You can patron us. You can patron us with some money.
Okay.
I do a monthly hangout.
In theory.
Yep.
Unless Pat shows up.
It was once. So I do a hangout. You get the full video podcast that way, and we also do a Patreon poll.
We do,
don't we, Patrick?
We do every week.
We do a Patreon poll
every week now.
And what do we got?
In third, we got a lot of votes this week. In third place at 28%, what would a CU podcast movie look like? There are some vocal people want this topic to come to fruition. We might keep it around because 28% is respectable for third place. In second place at 33%, what retro game console would you want an entire library of? No questions asked. And then in number one, 39%. This is a close one. What bad games have good soundtracks?
I want to thank everyone for going to that patreon.com/CU podcast.
Is repetition going to finally hammer it into your head?
And,
is that what this is
and
now?
taking part of this Patreon poll. So
it sounded too official. It sounded very political.
So
we have to vote. Patreon poll. It's very important.
I have an answer for this for me personally.
I don't. I have one that came up in the NES Marathon.
So not all modern Sonic the Hedgehog games are good. In fact, many of them are not so good at all. But I love the absolutely. I love Crush 40. They are a band who does most of the soundtracks for the modern Sonic games. They are in Sega themselves, so they do have some of their own songs, but they started as, for Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's just it's good. It's cheesy, but it's fun, and I won't go and play Sonic and the Black Knight, but the music is what it is. It's enjoyable, it's amusing, and it's always been fairly decent. So that would probably be my number one pick, at least that I can think of at the moment. I'm sure there are plenty of NES games that have decent soundtracks.
Yeah, I think with NES,
I really like the soundtrack to Deadly Towers. I like Deadly Towers, so I couldn't really use it as my example. But Deadly Towers is one that I think a lot of people would say.
I think the problem when you think of terrible games that you don't go back and play them, so you forget that they can have good soundtracks. But yeah, there's probably a chunk of NES games that are maybe if not they're terrible, but there's they're below average that probably have pretty good soundtracks because they're disconnected from the game development. It's totally separate. It's like, just make up a soundtrack. Cheetah Man 2, the music is really good. It's been remixed. It's been a club hit, so to speak. It's been put on vinyl. Looking it up right now, I want to pick it up. That's the one that always stands out as it's like, wow, that song's really good, but that's like the worst game ever. I'm gonna go though, Ian, to thegamer.com, which is not a site I've ever heard of before. I don't know if you've heard of thegamer.com.
I think that's Norm's site.
Is it Norm's site? Norm's taking over? Norm's going to buy it.
The Gamer.
15 terrible video games with amazing soundtracks. Did I share it in here? Let me share it in the document here just so you see it here. I just paste it in right now. This might upset us for a couple of reasons. But at number 15, we have Dragon's Lair.
That's not a bad game.
The soundtrack is good. It's quality in Dragon's Lair. It's not a terrible game. You may not like it. You may think, well, it's not for me. It's not a terrible game. It's revolutionary in its way. So that's not good. Number 14, Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two.
I have no idea.
I heard Epic Mickey 2 didn't get the best reviews and it didn't sell well. I don't know if it's terrible or not. Number 13, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Again, I don't know. I just know that everyone hated that game because it wasn't what they expected it to be.
Was it terrible? Okay. But number 12 is Millipede.
Now, I don't like Millipede.
I don't like it that much either. It's not a terrible game, though.
No, I really don't like Millipede. It also doesn't really have a great soundtrack.
No, but...
So that's why this is a very strange choice.
Millipede is a sequel to Centipede, obviously. It's not a bad game. It's just, well, I prefer Centipede. Most people do. It's for the simplicity.
Millipede kind of breaks it in ways I don't like.
Yeah, but it's not terrible. Guitar Hero World Tour. Well, I guess you can bring up the guitar, some of these games.
Sure, but that's...
Is that cheating, though? Because that's
cheating, and people
it's not a soundtrack.
Right.
Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 13-2. Final Fantasy 13-2.
I mean, those games do have good soundtracks, and they weren't the best games. So I can agree with that.
Robot Alchemic Drive.
My problem with them calling this game a bad game is that people seem to love this game.
Oh, okay.
It goes for a decent amount on PlayStation 2, and it sells pretty fast. So I don't know where that comes from. Oh, okay. So Sonic the Hedgehog,
2006.
Okay. So there's an example where the music is fun, but I wouldn't want to touch that game.
There's an Ys game I'm not familiar with at all. Ys versus Sora no Kiseki, Alternative Saga.
Raven's Cry.
Raven's Cry. Okay, this is like going. Wow. Okay. Have you heard of Raven's Cry?
No.
Set in the Caribbean in the 17th century, Raven's Cry features a soundtrack that functions as a slower and more atmospheric version of Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Maybe it's good. Don't Starve at number 5. Survival kids game. Okay. Daikatana at number 4. I don't think I've ever played Daikatana.
It's weird because Don't Starve was a game that lots of people liked.
So this is just a garbage list.
This is kind of a dumb list. Daikatana, I mean, that's a trash game for sure. I've never heard anyone talk about the soundtrack.
They have GoldenEye 007 for 2010 version. I've never heard anyone say that's a terrible game. Maybe they don't like it as much as the original. Obviously, I never have heard that that's a bad game, though.
Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team is great. It kind of really popularized the Mystery Dungeon series in the U.S. So okay. I think maybe this guy just didn't like it.
And number 1 is Link: The Faces of Evil.
Yeah.
On CD.
Oh my god. So hold on. I need to go back to this Pokemon one.
Okay.
So number 2, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. So here we go.
Now it's turning just criticizing his article.
Sadly, the gameplay fails to sustain the excitement found in the soundtrack. Poor AI, repetitive dungeons, and a lengthy campaign drain the fun out of the game. It's a fucking roguelike.
Okay. So that's how it is.
Roguelikes, yeah. It's not a bad game. You just didn't like it because you don't like that type of game.
So now we're just going off on this article at thegamer.com.
Anyways, so that's that.
And the number 1 is Link: Faces of Evil. I don't remember the music. I don't have this. I don't know how I still don't have a CDI Zelda game. But I don't remember watching any gameplay and the music being memorable. But I don't know. Maybe it is. I have no idea. This seems like a hot takes list. Okay, it just seems like don't Google these articles because you'll get people saying that a bad game is GTA Vice City with good music. I never heard that being a bad game before. Maybe some more memorable GTA games, but I never heard
Vice City was considered like the best one for a long
until
time.
San Andreas, right?
There were even people who liked Vice City better than San Andreas.
Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System is a bad game. I mean, it's not the Genesis one. Yoshi's Story.
Yoshi's Story's fine.
Okay, Dragon's Lair on the NES. That does not have good music.
Right, it doesn't.
That does not have good. That does not. These list makers suck.
Yeah.
I'm now attacking these list makers. Donkey Kong Land at number 5. I'm not familiar with the Donkey Kong Land and Game Boy.
They're not great.
One of the Zelda games, Fighting Street for PC Engine. Okay, you know what? That's a bad game. I might give you that.
Yeah.
Give you one, but it has decent music. Not great, decent.
It is a decent Capcom.
Sonic 3D. And then the hot takes of hot takes is Castlevania 2 being number 1 for the bad games with the music. Castlevania 2 is not a bad game.
Oh, they just want a reaction.
All right. I'm glad you guys chose this topic. We more explored how bad these lists are. But I came up with one choice. So thank you for following the Patreon. And remember, those out there, you can listen to the full audio podcast. You can get it on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, wherever fine podcasts are listened to. You don't have to wait for us. Remember, these are cut up segments from the audio podcast. We should remind people more about that, I think. All right.
I feel like they can figure it out.
Well, they haven't. So,
I know.
so anyway, moving on. Q&A time on the CU podcast. This is from at G1 Super Luigi 64. The horrifying new take on Sonic for that movie. I'm guessing he's referring to. I guess they have the official Sonic look coming out.
I mean, I'll keep this simple. It looks like shit. The people who wanted to see the movie,
They leaked the picture. Is that what happened?
I guess.
Okay.
Basically, it looks like shit. The people who would care enough about a Sonic movie hate it for reasons that I can understand, and the people who don't think it's that bad or don't get it are people who don't give a shit about Sonic or would want to see the movie anyways. It's stupid all the way around.
So what is the main gripe? Is that the eyes are separated, not connected in the middle? Is that really the main gripe?
The main gripe is it looks like shit.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's tall, it's lanky.
It's the eyes, though.
It doesn't look like it, and the eyes are fucking miserable.
I see people posing, I'm having nightmares because of the eyes. I look at the eyes, and I'm like, I don't think it looks that bad. I mean, they're big eyes. They're not as big as Sonic's giant plate eyes. But the fact that they're separated out like a normal animal.
They changed the fundamental look of the character. No one wants him to look like a normal animal.
But he doesn't look like a normal animal, but he looks like closer to an animal.
But no one wants that.
Because his eyes aren't connected. Like, that's the big thing. His eyes aren't connected.
People don't want that.
They want his connected eyes. So if his eyes were connected, would that be it?
Look at something like Pikachu and the way they've done the designs for Detective Pikachu, and look at how shitty they got Sonic, and look at how right they got the Pokemon. There's a reason why people who don't like. There's a reason why people are upset. I don't think it's worth being super upset about. I don't care about the movie, but I can see why, especially in light of Detective Pikachu and everyone being like, "Oh, they got that pretty right," and then I don't know. You look at Sonic and he looks like, I don't know, an awkward teenager with a weird face. He's tall, lanky.
I don't think it's like an awkward teenager. I think this comes down to Sonic fans just having this, I don't know, they're fetishized something to some point with how this character looks at. They're seeing things that don't exist. I think that's what it is.
I think you're seeing things that don't exist.
No, because when I look at him, I'm like, oh, he looks like Sonic. He's not exactly from the video game, but
you're a Nintendo guy and you've never really given a shit about Sonic.
Okay.
So there's a big difference. There's
But people are acting like this is like the Super Mario Brothers live action movie that it's so far away that you can't look at it.
It's really bad.
All right, then we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one because I don't.
It's real bad.
It's probably gonna be a shit movie either way, but I don't.
Oh, it's gonna be a shit movie, and I have
so
nothing.
So you make him shorter, put his eyes together,
I'd make him
less
look
lanky.
like he looks in the game. If you're gonna,
does he look exactly the same in every single game, or do they change him up?
More or less.
More or less. Okay. Okay. I think people just want it to be a cartoon character.
Yes.
I think that's what they wanted to be. And it's funny because the trailer's probably going to come out like in a week and a half. They're probably going to have a teaser soon. The best reaction. This is during the NES Marathon. We spoke about. There's his face there. Here he is, Sonic the Hedgehog in full live action form. He looks cute a little bit, They're talking about Larry King interviewed the actor doing the voice of Sonic.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was Larry King. It doesn't know anything, and just trying to say what is this Sonic thing. But it was funny because even the actor explaining it realized that this is just a horseshit movie. Like he can't even pretend to be really excited about it. He's like, it's a video game. It's a little creature that runs around and.
Oh, the movie's gonna be awful. My saying that it looks like shit is not because I really have anything invested in it. It's just that I can sit here and I can see why they think it looks like shit.
Is Sonic supposed to have green eyes? Or no? Is that canon?
That's another thing entirely. Yes, he can have green eyes.
So you would move his eyes a little closer together. I'm looking at the picture right now.
I would completely scrap and redesign it. There's no saving it.
Okay, I've seen some things on Twitter. Where it's like, oh, I fixed it in Photoshop. Like, oh, I like that.
If you fix the eyes a little bit, it does look a lot better. There's that. It still needs
make it a little bigger.
It needs that link to being a cartoon character. It needs that link to being the original character.
It needs Link in it.
It needs Link.
I think he needs socks.
He does need socks.
Okay, I will give you that. He needs socks. Anyone looks weird at the gym because some people at the gym run without socks. It just looks bizarre to me wearing sneakers without even like the low cut socks.
No socks.
Give me socks. I'll give you that.
No socks, no gloves. That's another thing.
It doesn't have gloves?
He doesn't have gloves.
It looks like it's white though on his hands, but it's not.
Could have done that with a glove, no problem.
I think he needs socks. I will give you that.
He definitely
needs socks. We're on the same page there. The hair looks the same though. The hair is fine. He's got the blowout that my cousin in his early 20s had. So that's good.
Oof.
All right, we'll see you back later for the trailer there.
All right, moving on. Q&A. Ryan Wagner Mania asks, do you think Nintendo could pull off the Virtual Boy Classic?
No, I don't think they could, because there is absolutely zero nostalgia for the Virtual Boy. It's Nintendo's biggest failure in the video game business. So the Virtual Boy, from start of production to when they canceled it, was like less than a year. I think it was like 9-10 months. They're like,
yeah, it was insane.
They tried pushing it for a few issues of Nintendo Power, and then they realized, no, this isn't happening. We're gonna, maybe talk about Wario Land coming out later, and that's about it. So when you look at the list of Virtual Boy games, and it's not the fact that you just can't play it with it because you get headaches and it's red. I think when people first thought about the Virtual Boy, I don't know if people realize how bad it was to look at that red color until people actually got it. The only reason I played it as a kid is because my cousin, who had every video game, it was three brothers, my cousin. I forget what they ordered, but they ordered something that was not the Virtual Boy from someone that shipped it to them. This obviously was 94 when the Virtual Boy. They ordered, I think, a controller or something, or a game. They shipped them the Virtual Boy by accident. So they kept it. And I remember the first time I played it, I think we lasted like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And this is trying out something new where you want to play it. And we're like, okay, I'm done. Playing Mario Tennis, it's like I can't look at that anymore.
Right.
So when we talk about the Boy library, what do you have nostalgia for? There's only a couple games that people think are worthwhile. A Wario Land is saying, well, that's a cool platformer. Like, that'd be cool not playing on the Virtual Boy.
Sure. Then
you don't need the Virtual Boy really then, do you? Can you play it on the 3DS? Can you release it there then? Re-release it? Mario Clash, not too familiar with it.
It's a good game. There's lots. That's the thing about the Virtual Boy.
Mario Tennis is not a good game.
All the games are pretty decent.
No, I don't think Mario Tennis is good.
Most of them.
Red Alarm, Teller Boxer is not good. The pinball game, you don't need a Virtual Boy to play pinball.
No.
Jack Brothers never played it. Red Alarm, I don't remember.
Red Alarm, I enjoyed the little bit I played.
We didn't get the Bomberman game here, so I don't know. Waterworld it's whatever. You're on a jet ski. Nestor's Funky Bowling, that's probably fine. Haven't played the golf game. Haven't played the Tetris game. These are never going to the Japanese ones, because there's like 12 games in Japan that came out, not here. 12 or 13. Oh, there's a fishing game. Is that really a fishing game? I might have to get it for the fishing game. But yeah, if Nintendo came out and said we're going to do a Virtual Boy collection on the Switch,
I think this is what's going to happen. We'll never get a Virtual Boy Classic, of course, and I don't think this person really thinks that we would.
You get a mini just eye goggles.
Well, no, there was a. Let me find it.
I've actually never seen Virtual Fishing. Let me see this.
There is. Where is it?
Wow, that looks bad. Virtual Fishing looks bad.
Yep, there's a Nintendo VR coming out for the Switch. It's a Labo.
Which we didn't discuss because I have no interest in discussing it. But.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
So that people are thinking that's going to open the door to a Virtual Boy?
No, but I mean, you do something like that, you could easily put together a collection of Virtual Boy games. You could play them without the stereoscopic, or if you wanted to mess with the weird funky head visor, then you do it. And
make them black and white like a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Instead of red.
Well,
so that would be nice.
There is someone actually did that for Android phones. You can take an Android phone and stick it in like a Google Cardboard or one of those, like, essentially what this is.
Sure.
And use a controller, and they actually have an emulator that will do it, but I think it's default black and white, and you can change it to different colors. But I mean, it's totally doable. So I could easily see. Who knows if Nintendo will, but that's easily doable with this.
I guess the technology had to use red back then, I guess, but it just seems like a product that they didn't bother to focus test, and just were so far into it with R&D that we got to put it out to make some money back.
Yeah,
because they knew this was not going to be a success. They had to have known that this was not going to be good.
Oh yeah,
they had to have.
I mean, I clearly remember it coming out, and the promotion was lackluster at best.
They assumed they had to recoup some money.
Yeah.
At that point, it was almost
good
money after bad.
I don't feel like they even tried.
They didn't even try.
Yeah.
It was never it was never a cover story in Nintendo Power. It was in Nintendo Power, the games. I remember reading about it like three issues or so, but then it was like, okay, we're done with this. So no, there will never be a Virtual Boy Classic because there's not enough nostalgia. There's not enough games that people are familiar with. It looks like ass playing it, and you get a headache. So it's kind of like the lost Nintendo system. Not the Wii U. It's a Virtual Boy. All right, that's it for this.
That's that.
See You podcast for what day? March 12th, 2019. Thanks to Ian for coming out. And thanks for everyone.
Thanks to Pat for hosting me.
Thanks for everyone helping out with the marathon. I forgot to thank everyone for coming out. Vonnie, Ian, Gerard, Alex, and Andre helping out.
It's a fun gang.
It's a fun gang. I'll find out who ordered that mystery pizza at some point. Oh, there's something to show Ian. I should have put in the intro. I'm not sure this is gonna be a segment or not. Let's pump up the volume on here. I'm shocked you missed this.
How do you know I've missed it?
Because you didn't mention it. Either way, we're going to show the audience. It's the completely unnecessary unsolved mysteries.
Oh, I have not seen this.
You have not seen this.
No.
Okay. And this is from who created this? Zappa Video. He has the Michelangelo avatar. You might recognize it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's watch this. This is good. This is in real time here. Let's make this bigger. Full screen.
On the evening of Monday, February 4th, 2019, Ian Ferguson sat down with Pat Contry at his San Diego home to record an episode of the Completely Unnecessary podcast. When just a few minutes into the program, Pat received a mysterious and disturbing phone call.
North America. Holy sh! I gotta remember to unplug that.
Oh, it's at 4:3.
Just take the ringer off. So anyway, holy sh! All right, Ian.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. So the Super Bowl happened. The Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams. Oh my God! Robert Stack has some.
Pat's phone is making like an alarm sound now. Anyway.
Ian writes it off as a robocall gone haywire. But is Pat's paranormal past calling back to haunt him?
That's Ghost Phone.
Perhaps you may be able to help solve the mystery.
Holy shit! That is like the best thing I've ever seen.
From Zappa Video. Great VHS effects.
Not Robert Stack.
A pretty good, a decent Robert Stack. Oh, he's the guy who did the Lollipop days.
He's good. That's so good.
That could be the best thing ever. I'm surprised you missed that yesterday.
I did.
I'm surprised you missed that.
I was out and asleep most of yesterday and then at the movies, so... I gotta find that then.
What do you find it? It's
I mean,
right there.
I was tagged in it though, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I you missed that. That was the best thing.
That's insane. Alright, well, thank
Perhaps
you.
you can help solve
a
a mystery.
mystery.
And then it has Q&A time, ranch dressing,
So good.
retro game collections.
Oh, that's the best.
All right. I don't know if that should be its own segment. I feel like I got to spotlight it more. Maybe I'll make it a segment. Yeah, check it out. It's a Zappa Video, but just search for completely unnecessary unsolved mysteries. Make that a segment. All right, Kier, we're gonna make that a segment. We'll get some mileage out of that. We'll see if we can
Well,
get
I
any
want
other
to make
segment.
sure that they go to his video of it though.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe not.
We're gonna put the link.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll do it. Come on,
All
we'll
right.
do it up. All right, everyone. I'm gonna be on Twitch now for the heck of it. Ian's gonna go bye. He just want to hang out for a bit. So thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Pharmacy.
All right, talk over my ending. Bye, everyone.